I have some statistics here. Studies reveal 1 in 10 men in the world have purchased a prostitute. In America, 80,000 citizens are arrested a year for soliciting sex. And the murder rate for an American prostitute is 204 for every 100,000, which is kind of a lot. Um, in certain areas around San Antonio, we see prostitutes walking around. Where I come from, you're able to tell kind of like who's walking in the streets. This isn't something that we want our children to grow up and see. If there was a designated place, such as a brothel or just an area where they can have it happening, it would decrease the crime off the streets. And if it was happening illegally, still we'd be able to catch these people and prosecutions would be put in place for them. Here I have that in New Zealand, the numbers decreased of private workers and street workers, as well as managed workers. That's just showing that society cleaned itself up a little bit once it was legalized. There wasn't too many people off the street working. Um, they were all in private business, I guess you could say. Legalizing and decriminalizing prostitution could reduce human sex trafficking. In 2001, Germany legalized work. Over the course of the next 10 years, instances of sex-based human trafficking decreased by 10% within the country, according to EliteDaily.com. State legislators in Rhode Island unintentionally legalized prostitution in 1980. A criminal case brought this to public attention in 2003. The error was corrected in 2009. So for those 6 years between '03 and '09, they noticed that there was a 31% decline in the number of rapes in the state, and simultaneously gonorrhea infection for women had dropped by 39%. So obviously, legalizing prostitution benefited the state with decreasing rape and decreasing STIs. In 8 European countries, including the Netherlands, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Greece, Turkey, Hungary, and Latvia, prostitution is legal and regulated. Instead of spending money on criminal enforcement for getting prostitutes off the streets, the government focuses on healthcare for the prostitutes since it's legal, and they go after the underage prostitution. While you can still make an argument that human sex trafficking is still occurring in all those places, particularly the Netherlands, it's still very low compared to what's happening in the US right now, according to HuffingtonPost.com. If prostitution were to be legalized and decriminalized, it would benefit sex workers in being more healthier and more healthy because they would have screenings done and they would have clients use condoms, and as well as it would just decrease human sex trafficking. There would be safe places for prostitution, and law enforcement would be able to recognize where it's happening illegally. Here I have some more stats in New Zealand. This was in 2006. The number of private workers was 551, 90. They're all kind of high, but once they became like over in the next year while it was legal, in 2007 though, the numbers dropped again. So as you can see, like more people aren't looking towards the profession once it's legal because there's all these rules and regulations and everything. So the society's cleaning itself up and the government's able to recognize where it's happening illegally and everything. So it's benefiting the sex workers in general. In Germany and New Zealand, clients, otherwise known as customers, who use brothels are screened and the credit card numbers are taken. They have seen that this helps reduce the violence that goes on within those places. It's easier to decline or to ban services to men who become aggressive with the sex workers. And the people who do not cooperate with the rules and regulations, it's easier to just have them not deal with the services. Illegal prostitution causes a more dangerous place for sex workers. When prostitution is illegal, it causes sex workers to be in danger of STIs, HIVs, violence, rape, and to be victimized into human sex trafficking. With prostitution being illegal, it costs taxpayers for every sex worker being arrested or put in prison. However, if it was legalized and decriminalized, it would bring in a large tax revenue. According to Elite Daily, in 2007, Atlanta's sex trade was worth a staggering $290 million. Not to mention, between 2005 and 2011, the average weekly cash